It's a song on your album called She Says. Is this song about you? The she person?
Ask me in 2 years,
Okay.
then I'll know.
Okay.
No, I hope this one's not about me.
No, because there are lines, she needs to throw the perfect picture away, she doesn't need anyone to tell her who she is. Could be about you.
Alright, so maybe it is about me. And I wrote it about, I live in a very conservative part of the United States where Tennessee. And where even more than maybe in other places where I've lived, women are expected to do a certain thing, fulfill a certain role. And I wrote this song with Cara Dioguardi, and we were talking about what are we going to write about. And she kind of, she went to school somewhere and had kind of the same experience where girls were expected to maybe go to college, but the second they were done with college, they were expected to go back, get married, and do whatever their husband wanted them to do. And not really expected to do anything beyond that, besides raise children and be able to take care of a nice home and make nice dinners. And it sounds like you know, something from 20 or 30 years ago or something, but I think it's still that kind of image for a woman still exists, where just less is expected of them. As long as they do what society expects them to do, it's okay. And that it's in some places, and some places way worse than Tennessee. You think about you know, Middle East countries where women have barely any rights at all. You're just expected to do a certain thing, and anything that goes beyond that, you know, people freak out, and it's hard when you're born into something like that to break free from it.
And how did you break free from it then? Was it done on purpose by you, or was it something that you will gradually slide into?
I think so. I think I would say probably more gradually. I like to think that I wasn't raised that way. That you know, I wasn't raised with all those expectations, but I think I probably was, just by, you know, being born in Belgium and what, you know, most of my parents' friends' kids were doing, and of course I was expected to get married, and not that people were really pushing me into it, but I think deep down it's just, you sometimes just follow in the pattern of what's expected of you, and I think I did that too. And then somehow, probably what saved me is traveling a lot, and because you're already kind of ripped out of your comfortable environment anyway, and you're always gone, you're always on the road, and you kind of start wondering anyway, like, where do I belong, who am I? And in the end, that might have really helped me.
Okay, because the last 3 years well, case choice, you have put it on hold. You quit your marriage, and you are living now together with a woman. Was it something you had to make it work for you now? Because you're saying in your last song, I'm okay. Someone keeps saying I could be a star, I'm never quite sure what that means. It sounds like there's something I'm missing right now. I'm not what I think I could be.
Yeah, it's if I hadn't made these changes for myself, I probably would have gone insane.
Yeah?
I feel like now it's hard to imagine this not happening to me, and it's even hard to think that this didn't happen to me 5 years ago.
How come?
Well, because once you find yourself, if I can say it like that, I mean, everything I say about it is going to sound really cliche, but it's really what it feels like. You feel like you're really finally...
That's why it's a cliche, you know?
Yeah, exactly. It's just, it all makes sense. And once you find yourself, it's hard to imagine any time before that. It's like, it literally feels like you were in some dark little room and someone opened the door and turned the light on. It's like, okay, now I get it. And so it's really hard to go back to that dark little room and imagine, like, why did I stay, and the door was open, you know, all the time. Why did I stay in there? So it's hard for me, it's almost hard for me now to imagine why I didn't see all this before, or why I didn't come to all these conclusions before. And now I feel like, all right.
Was there one specific, or maybe two specific, or maybe, let's say, a certain period when it all made more sense to you?
Well, it was a very hard time figuring out what I needed to do. I felt like I was kind of leading my life, and I was never necessarily very happy, but I thought I was doing okay, and I thought, you know what, I'm just one of those people who are not very happy. It's okay. And I was kind of convinced that I was always going to be like that. And then, you know, all of a sudden I fall in love with a woman, and it took me probably 3 or 4 months to even say those words, not just out loud, but just to myself. I had no idea what it meant. I couldn't place my emotions. It was just very gradually that I realized what was happening, and it took me a long time to figure out that that was where I needed to go. Because at first I thought, this is just something weird that's happening, I gotta let it go, I gotta, you know, push it away. And that was the hardest time, when I just didn't know. And then once I made the decision, and I felt really strongly about my decision, it was very easy. Of course it sucked when you have to, you know, tell everyone, and everything changes and people talk, and that's never a fun period. But that was peanuts compared to
your inner struggle.
Yeah, to the inner struggle, exactly.
And is it hard for you to write really open about yourself on this record, or is it something that...
It's not hard for me, because I've kind of learned in all those years of making Case Choice records that I don't give something away of myself that I really want to keep to myself. I feel like the things I talk about are everybody's problems and everybody's issues and everyone's doubts, and it's not my own little world that I'm giving to everybody else. And that's something that I've learned by talking to people, and so many people have come up to me and said, you know, that song, it's like you wrote it exactly for me, because I feel exactly the same way, and how can you know?
And what is the best, let's say the best of the nicest compliment you've had about, let's say, somebody listening to your song, or what did it do for them, or...
Well, one of the nicest things was someone came up to me. I wrote a song called Dad for Paradise and Me, and someone came to me and said, I've had a really strained relationship with my dad. It's very hard for me to communicate with him, and one day I just put the song on, played it for him, and we've been great friends ever since. Okay. So that's just like, you know, like it's hard to believe that that music can have that kind of impact on people, and that's the biggest compliment. And I think just everything I write about, it's not just me. It's everyone knows.
Everyone can relate.
Yeah, everyone can relate. And the things that I do every day, and the things that I talk about with my family, and how we live our lives, those are my things. You know, those things are private. But how I see the world and the struggles that we all have, I don't mind writing about that.
No, because let's say I think you write from yourself, but you make, let's say, more general for everyone to.
Well, it's not intentionally. I don't sit there writing thinking, well, I'm going to generalize it so that everyone can enjoy it. It's just that even when I write the most personal song, I always come to the same conclusion, where people will come and say, God, that's my song. You wrote my song. Okay. And so I like that. It's like therapy both ways.
Okay, and how is your sister doing now?
Actually, it's not my sister.
Oh,
it's a very, very close friend of mine's sister who died of breast cancer. So that's what the song is about.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
No, I was thinking it was about your sister.
No, I don't have a sister.
Okay. When were the songs written? About what time period? Were also some songs written you already wrote during the Case Choice?
Well, one song, the earliest song was Turn Around, that I wrote while we were mixing Almost Happy. And then it was a while before I really started writing for my solo record. But I would say probably after that it would be over like a three-year period or something. And I was overly prepared. I had 30 songs ready for this record. So. Do
you write quick? Do you have let's say do you write a song, let's say 4 or 5 a month, or 1 a month? Are you a quick writer? It
really depends. I can write 3 songs in a month and then not write for 4 months. It kind of depends on the groove I'm in or whatever. But I went to LA one week to do co-writes with other people. And I wrote 5 songs in a week, which is obviously very rare, but it was because I was there and I was meeting someone else every day to write. And that was great. I liked having to being forced to be creative and being forced to work, and it actually was really good for me because it really helped me to write by myself later. But sometimes I'll be playing around with sorry. Sometimes I'll be playing around with a melody for months, and then finally one day I make a song out of it. Okay. And sometimes I come up with a melody, and 3 hours later I have the entire song. It really depends.
So you can grasp it easily to know when you're gonna write a song, or not. You just have to. I
just kind of wait, and I play around with my guitar a lot, and if something comes up in the first 20 minutes, and then I just kind of keep playing with it. If nothing comes up, I just kind of forget about it and do it some other day.
And how do you write? Do you write, let's say, mostly on guitar, and do you start with the music, or have you already written some lyrics, or maybe a melody line, or?
It's always a guitar. It always starts with a guitar, and the melody line comes after the guitar, and the lyrics come after that. And usually, I won't write all that the same day. I'll have to just kind of like let something sit a little bit and think, what am I going to write about? But what also happens is that I'm just singing random words, random melody, just to kind of decide on a melody. And one word or one line will really stick out, and I'll build on that line. It's something that happened with a song called Don't Stop, that's on the record. And I just wrote the first line, don't stop trying, there's always reason to go on living. And then I just kind of liked, all of a sudden I had this idea of the repetitiveness of it, and like giving all this advice, and that it's really that line that kind of inspired the rest of the song.
Okay, and what are your plans now? Are you going to tour, or?
We're going to try to tour as much as possible. Everyone agrees that I need to play tons, and I want to play tons, so we're trying to do a lot of festivals in the spring and summer. And hopefully in the fall we'll be playing clubs all over Europe.
Is it nice now for you to go back to the smaller places to play, or because you're now on your own? Or?
Yeah, everything feels different now. We played this festival in Switzerland, for example, last summer with the mini album that I had out that we played with Case Choice at before. But of course this time we played on the small stage, and we played in the afternoon instead of at night. And those are little things, but that's kind of what's making me want to fight for my spot again. I'm thinking, all right, in 2 years we'll come back and we'll play the big stage again.
Okay, I will see. I think that's the last question now. Let me see. Well, what is for you personally the biggest difference now with Case Choice, with performing and playing and writing songs with Case Choice, and now on your own?
The biggest difference overall, I can't pin it down to one particular thing. For me, it's just the feeling that I've gotten from making this record on my own, that I'm starting over, and that I'm so looking forward to this coming year. I'm looking forward to all the tours. I'm looking forward to getting back on the bus. I just have a newfound enthusiasm, and I think all I really needed is just a little change of pace, where just a couple of ingredients are different, just enough for me to feel like, ooh, this is a new beginning. That's the biggest difference.
Okay. And what does your brother think of this album?
He says he likes it. I don't know if he's being honest. He says he really likes it, and I heard his album too, and I really like it. So I don't think we went way off Case Choice, you know. I think we're still kind of making the same kind of music. So we played a couple of songs live with Case Choice while we were in the States in October. And we played Not Insane and Come Over Here, which are two songs that he absolutely loved, enough to say, you know, I think we should really play those live. I think it'll be fun. So I think he generally likes it.
Okay.
Thank you.